is Ashley, and I'm just trying to do a quick video. I've gotten a lot of people asking me how I've been doing my giant Afghan. As I said, I am the golden goddess of crochet, but I thought I'd share with all of you. So hopefully this video helps you if you kind of had your eye on doing one of these guys. So this is a part of my Afghan, because let's be real, it's kind of giant and I can't show it all on one thing. There it is. So you can see the nice big stitches. It's really nice and heavy. It's very, very plush and soft, which I really, really love about it. I'm going to do a scarf, so to show you exactly how much time it takes to make a scarf. And then basically what you do to make an Afghan is you keep going until it's the size you want and then stop, and that's it. So first off, I'm going to show you the wool I use. So I use Loops and Threads Huge. This is just the first wool I found when I really wanted to do it, and I just found it at Michael's. It gives you a rough idea. Note the hand wash, so keep in mind that anything made from this is not really going to be child and or pet friendly. Other things to keep in mind with this project: the wool itself. This particular wool at my Michael's was about $10 a ball. That includes tax, and it sheds a lot when you first make stuff out of it. Once it gets its first, like, it loses all its loose pieces, then it's totally fine. Again, it's hand wash only, so not very pet friendly, and I think that's pretty much it. So if you don't know how to crochet already, maybe look at some crochet videos before you do this. I'll do my best, but I make no guarantees. And basically how this came about was I was totally jealous of that arm knitting business ones that you see on Etsy that are just gorgeous, and I wanted to learn how to make it myself, but I don't really know how to knit, and watching the arm knitting videos, for me, it was just confusing. I do know how to crochet, and I kind of had a brainstorm when my partner looked at me and he was like, I wonder how people used to crochet before there were needles. Now, he's an engineer, so he was just, I don't know, doing some crazy engineer thing. But it really got me thinking that maybe I could just do it with my hands. And so thus hand, finger, arm crochet was invented. Or at least here it was invented. I had never heard of it before. So step number 1, take off your jewelry. Your rings are going to get caught in this wool, especially if you have wedding rings or engagement rings, anything that has a claw setting, and it'll split the wool. So take all of the rings, all your bracelets off before you start this. So then, depending on the size of project, a Afghan is anywhere between 16 and 20 balls of wool. A scarf is anywhere from 3, 4, 5 balls of wool, depending on what size you want it. So the color of my Afghan was landscape. The color I am using is autumn leaf. So basically you just take the wrapper off and you grab an end, because this is not made like traditional balls of wool. It's not a convenient, you pull out of the center and it just works. This just ends up being a big mess, and you try to make the best out of it as you can. So you're going to see me doing that a lot. Oh, also a disclaimer, I don't know how to video edit, so we're going to be here a while. So to start, you're going to make your beginning loop, which is you take this, you make a loop, okay, and then you grab your wool. See, there's the tail there. You grab your wool, you pull it through, and you tighten, and that's your beginning loop. Okay, I'm going to undo that and do it again, mostly because I did it too far away from the end. So again, start, loop, pull another loop, and tighten. Okay. So then we're going to do something called chaining. So here's your tail, just because you're not going to be able to see it off screen. You're going to take your wool and you're basically just going to grab it and pull it through. Now you want to try to keep your stitches pretty much equal. And basically I just mean the loops should be about the same size. And you chain until it's the length you want it. For an Afghan, my Afghan was a 30 chain? 30 chain. For a scarf, I do around 20, just to make it a little shorter, because it's so bulky you don't want it bunched up under your coat. So that's 1, 2, 3, 15, and I'm going to stop at 15 and just check. So if you're making it for you, it's pretty easy to check. Just toss it around your neck. I actually like the 15. I think I'm going to stick with that for this one, and I have an idea for it too. So I like 15, so what I'm going to do is do one more chain, so 16, and then I'm going to turn my chain. Now, when you're doing this, you'll see it's kind of hard to see, but you see how there are V's there? You want the other side where there are like these bumps and it looks almost like a braid. Again, if you don't know how to crochet, there I'm sure are tons of videos that explain that way better than me. I'll try to post some that I like in the description, or just Google beginner crochet, because really we're not doing anything special in this. There's no mystery pattern or anything. So you're going to take your chain, you put the bumps up, you're going to make sure your loop isn't that terrifyingly big, and then you're going to put your fingers through the first loop, pull the yarn through, and then pull a loop through those two loops. Okay, I'm going to do that again. Well, I mean, realistically speaking, I'm doing it 15 more times, so just bear with me. Okay, so there's that bump. Put my fingers through, grab my yarn, pull it through once, and then through those two loops. So that is a single crochet. That's what we're doing. You can also do this double crochet. Maybe on my next row I'll do a quick double crochet to show you how that looks. So that's 2, 3, and 15 for the end. Okay. Sorry, it does hurt the arms to hold it up to the camera, FYI. You're welcome for the sacrifice. So that is my first row, and if that is good enough for you, if that's kind of the scarf you want, or you're making it for a tiny person, then that's probably all you need. But I like having a lot of bulk on my neck, because that's where I tend to get cold in the winter, so I am just going to keep going, and I'll show you guys what a double crochet is. Bear with me while I untangle there we go. Okay, so normally if you're going to do the next row, you're going to chain 1, turn it, and go down again. Since we're doing a double crochet, I'm going to chain 2. So 1, 2, and then I'm going to turn my project, and here are those V's again. So this time you're going to go through both stitches of the V. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. And before you go, since it's a double crochet, we're going to add an extra loop, go through, grab, and then pull through 2 loops and pull through 2 loops. And that's how you get a double crochet. So I will do that again and again 15 more times, so bear with me. 2 and 2. Hopefully that makes sense. If not, again, check out how to just do a quick double crochet stitch. I'm sticking with really simple stitches with this wool because you don't need anything complicated. The type of wool it is, bulky, sort of makes it look like you're doing a lot more with it than you're actually doing, which is nice because it means not as many steps for me. And remember to keep count. Whoop, and I forgot to. Okay, so here we're at an end. So before I go any further, I'm gonna unwrap the next ball. I'm gonna find myself the end of this guy. Somewhere there's an end. Okay. Here we go. Okay, so we are going to join these two together. So what I do, I don't know if this is what you're actually supposed to do, but this is how I've done mine, is you grab the 2 ends and you just do a double knot, making sure to leave enough of a tail that you can weave it in after. And I basically just keep pulling on that double knot until it's nice and tight, but also it's about the same width as the wool itself, so it's not very noticeable. Okay? So let's keep double crocheting away. I'm making mine relatively small. I learned that you can actually do it a heck of a lot bigger if you want to, and it still looks really, really cool. So let's get this last stitch in here. So that is a row of double crochet. And again, just kind of, you're going to want to mess with it a little bit, but give you a good idea. So I think one more row should do this one for me. And I'm going to do another row of single crochet. So chain 1, turn it around, and this one is pretty easy. So you can see it does go relatively fast. And what I love about crochet is that if you kind of flub a little, it's pretty easy to fix. You can add a stitch, you can take away a stitch, you can tighten or loosen your tension, and that kind of helps with stuff too. So, almost done. Which is good because my bicep is starting to completely cramp up. You're welcome. Again, the sacrifices I'm doing for you guys. Like that. And then in the last one. So, whew. Okay, and when you do it in your lap, not holding it up. I'm just saying. So you can see the difference in this one. It looks almost like a ladder compared to one that I did earlier, which is all single crochets, which you don't get that same sort of effect. I like the single crochets best, but this kind of gave you an idea of what it would look like. So when you're done, you actually just want to pull this through all the way, and you're going to cut it about like that, give it enough room. And then you're going to weave in the ends. So anywhere where you have some ends poking through, and you're just going to use your hands to do this, you kind of like cram it through and push it in until you don't see it anymore. Like that. Or I'll show you this end. So with this I would just kind of push and pull, mostly because they just don't make needles that I've seen the right size. Normally you'd use a tapestry needle to put the ends in, but you basically just kind of mess around with it until it's all the way in. You can see just messing with it until I'm happy with it. Now that end is probably going to come out, because also you kind of want to mess with it until you're happy. There we go. And then so that is a quick scarf that really easily, all you need to do, there's no fancy ties of this scarf. You just do that, you put your coat on, and you're good to go. You can make one a bit longer, like this is the one we just made. And I used 2 balls of wool for that. This one I made a bit earlier. Again, this is that landscape color, and I made it a bit longer, so even if I just want it to sort of hang around my neck, I can do that, pull it down, there we go. And it does make a really, really beautiful scarf as well as a gorgeous Afghan. And that's it. Pretty simple, and as you can see, like, we did a scarf in less than 20 minutes, which you definitely can't do with just regular crochet. So hopefully you learned something. I would love to see your projects. If you want to send me a message with a picture, that would be awesome. The most important part of this is to find the wool of the proper gauge, so either at Michael's or if you have a local yarn shop, maybe check there because they give you a bigger variety. But either way, it tends to be a pretty pricey project to do, so keep that in mind when you're budgeting for it. Okay, that's it for me. Hope you enjoyed yourselves, and I hope you have an amazing day.